Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. For millions of people around the globe, the American dream isn't just a distant fantasy, it's a real, hard-fought goal. For many, the journey to the United States is filled with years of planning, sacrifice and hope. And for all of them, one document stands at the center of their aspirations: the U.S. Visa Bulletin. This monthly publication is more than just a government report. It's a lifeline, a source of anticipation, and sometimes, anxiety. Each month, the U.S. Department of State releases the Visa Bulletin, and for aspiring immigrants, it's more than a simple update. It's a signal of hope or disappointment. The bulletin determines when people from around the world can finally take the next step toward permanent residency. And for many, it's the most important date on their calendar. Even a small shift in the bulletin's dates can spark celebration or heartbreak. These dates decide when someone can finally apply for a green card, and for families separated by borders, every update can mean the difference between reunion and more waiting. The emotional roller coaster is real. One month can bring joy, the next, frustration. The September and October 2025 bulletins have become global focal points, drawing attention from families, employers, and immigration professionals worldwide. These months mark a turning point for countless families, as the U.S. government resets its annual visa quotas and updates its policies. September's bulletin brought a frustrating freeze, with visa numbers exhausted and dates stuck. For many, it felt like time had stopped, and dreams were put on hold yet again. The disappointment was palpable, especially for those who had been waiting for years. But with the arrival of October, and the start of a new fiscal year, the Visa Bulletin introduced the most significant changes in over a year. New visa numbers became available, and for some, long-awaited progress finally arrived. The bulletin's updates brought renewed hope and a sense of possibility. For many, these changes mean a chance to reunite with loved ones, pursue new careers, or finally put down roots in a new country. But for others, the uncertainty continues, as backlogs and long wait times remain a reality. This update has shaken the U.S. immigration landscape, creating new opportunities for some and continued uncertainty for others. The ripple effects are felt not just in the U.S., but in communities around the world. In this video, we'll break down what the Visa Bulletin is, the latest changes, and what they mean for you or your employees. Whether you're an individual applicant, a family member, or an employer, understanding these updates is essential. We'll focus on key countries like India and China, which face the longest waits and the most complex backlogs. We'll also hear from experts who will explain the broader impact of these changes on the global workforce and families everywhere. The journey to a new life in America is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a process filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of hope. Understanding the latest updates is crucial to navigating this path. Staying informed can make all the difference in planning your next steps and avoiding costly mistakes. The map has changed. Let's explore what's new and how these changes could shape your future in the United States. The U.S. Visa Bulletin is essentially a supply and demand chart for green cards. It's a monthly publication from the U.S. Department of State that tells you when you can move forward in the green card process. For anyone hoping to become a permanent resident, understanding the Visa Bulletin is crucial. It's the roadmap that guides you through a complex and often confusing journey. Congress sets annual limits on how many people can get permanent residency, divided by family and employment categories. These limits are designed to manage the flow of immigrants and ensure fairness, but they also create bottlenecks, especially in high-demand categories. Demand far exceeds supply, especially for countries like India, China, Mexico, and the Philippines, creating long backlogs. For many, this means years, sometimes even decades of waiting before they can take the next step. Each applicant gets a priority date, the day their petition was filed. This date is your place in line, and it determines when you'll be eligible to move forward. The bulletin lists final action dates for each category and country. These dates show whose applications are actually being processed that month, and they change from month to month based on demand and available visas. If your priority date is earlier than the listed date, you can move forward with your green card application. If not, you'll need to keep waiting and checking the bulletin each month. Think of it as waiting for your number to be called at the DMV, but on a much larger and more complicated scale. The process can be frustrating, but the bulletin is your guide to where you stand. There's also a dates for filing chart, showing who can soon apply. This chart is especially important because it sometimes lets people submit their paperwork before their final action date is current, giving them a head start. Each month, USCIS decides if applicants can use this chart to file their final green card application, Form 1485. This decision can change month to month, so it's important to check both the State Department and USCIS websites regularly. Filing I-485 is a game changer. It lets you and your family apply for work authorization, so you can legally work in the US while your green card is pending. It also allows you to apply for travel documents so you can leave and re-enter the country without jeopardizing your application. These benefits can make a huge difference during the long wait. The October 2025 Bulletin's use of the dates for filing chart is especially significant, unlocking these benefits for thousands. When the chart advances, it can open the door for many families who have been waiting for years. For those stuck in backlogs, this is a rare window of opportunity, a chance to finally move forward, gain stability, and start building a future in the United States. September 2025's Visa Bulletin brought little surprise, just more waiting. As the fiscal year ended, visa quotas were nearly exhausted, freezing all key dates. For Indian applicants, EB1, EB2, and EB3 categories remained stuck, leaving professionals who started their journey over a decade ago still in limbo. China's categories also saw no movement, though their backlogs aren't as severe as India's. The Department of State warned that most employment-based categories would be unavailable by month's end. This annual freeze is a recurring frustration, driven by per-country caps and overwhelming demand. Hopes were pinned on October for any sign of relief. The September Bulletin's stagnation set the stage for the dramatic changes to come. October 2025 brought a fresh start and real movement. For many immigrants and their families, this month marked a turning point that had been eagerly anticipated for years. The air was thick with hope and cautious optimism as the new Visa Bulletin was released, signaling changes that could reshape countless lives. USCIS announced it would use the dates for filing chart, letting thousands file their I-485 applications even if their final action date wasn't current. This policy shift opened doors for applicants who had been waiting in limbo, allowing them to take crucial steps toward permanent residency sooner than expected. This triggered a wave of relief and action among families and attorneys. Households that had been holding their breath could finally begin preparing paperwork, gathering documents, and scheduling consultations. Immigration lawyers saw a surge in inquiries as people rushed to understand how these changes could impact their unique situations. EB1, EB2, and EB3 categories for most countries advanced by up to 3.5 months. For many, this meant the difference between waiting in uncertainty and finally being able to plan for the future. The advancement was a welcome surprise, especially for those who had been stuck in the backlog for years. The biggest leap was in India's EB5 investor category, which jumped forward by nearly 15 months. This dramatic movement created a surge of opportunity for Indian investors and their families, who could now move forward with their plans much sooner than anticipated. However, China's EB5 dates for filing actually moved backward by 3 months, a stark reminder of the system's volatility. For Chinese applicants, this setback was disappointing, underscoring the unpredictable nature of the visa process and the importance of staying informed and prepared for sudden changes. The October Bulletin isn't a cure-all, but it's a powerful catalyst for those ready to act. It offers a rare chance to make progress, but also demands careful planning and quick decision-making to take full advantage of the shifting landscape. For many, this is a rare and possibly brief window to move forward. The opportunity may not last, and those who hesitate could find themselves waiting once again as the system shifts. Swift action is essential. Progress can vanish as quickly as it appears. In this ever-changing environment, staying proactive and informed is the key to turning hope into reality. For India and China, the October Bulletin brought both hope and hard truths. These countries face the longest waits due to high demand and strict per-country caps. The decision to use the dates for filing chart was a lifeline, especially for Indian professionals in EB2 and EB3, who could finally file I-485S and gain job flexibility. Chinese applicants also saw progress in employment-based categories, but the EB5 investor category retrogressed, forcing some to wait even longer. This highlights the system's core challenge: high demand colliding with rigid quotas. The October Bulletin is a crucial opportunity, but progress is fragile and can reverse quickly. For tens of thousands, it's a call to action, and a reminder that real reform is needed to fix these backlogs. Family-based immigration is just as affected by the Visa Bulletin as employment-based cases. Categories like F2A, spouses and minor children of green card holders, once had no backlog, but rising demand has created new waits. September's bulletin set a final action date for F2A, delaying reunification for many families. October's dates for filing chart, however, allowed families to submit paperwork and secure work authorization while waiting for final approval. For other categories, like married children or siblings of U.S. citizens, backlogs can stretch 15-20 years, especially for Mexico and the Philippines. October brought only minor progress for these groups. The ability to file offers some relief, but the emotional toll of long waits remains high. The Visa Bulletin's numbers have real consequences. The October 2025 Bulletin's forward movement, especially the dates for filing window, is a game changer for thousands. For employees, it means freedom from being tied to a single employer and the ability to work, travel, and plan for the future. For families, it means spouses can work and children feel secure. Employers benefit too, retaining talent and boosting morale. The surge in I-485 filings will strain USCIS, but the benefits for families are life-changing. This isn't just paperwork, it's about restoring agency and dignity to those who contribute to America every day. Immigration experts agree. This is a critical, time-sensitive moment. Their advice? File adjustment of status applications as soon as possible. These windows can close without warning. The expected surge in filings may slow future progress or even cause retrogressions. This cycle of feast and famine is a symptom of outdated laws and rigid per-country caps. Experts argue these quotas hurt the U.S. economy and keep families in limbo. The October Bulletin's relief is temporary. Only comprehensive reform can fix the system for good. The September and October 2025 bulletins show how quickly the immigration landscape can shift. For those eligible, now is the time to act. File applications, secure work and travel authorization, and consult with legal experts. Staying informed and planning ahead is essential as the bulletin will continue to fluctuate. Proactive engagement turns waiting into action. The U.S. immigration system is complex but not impenetrable. With diligence and preparation, the American dream remains within reach for those who seize the moment.